I'm your host, Steve Gill, and well, was an interesting day yesterday. There are just days when I know that I just don't want to go to social media because of um, the asinine things that I'm going to see. And yesterday was one of those days. So, Shador Sanders goes through limited individual drills and then is shut down because Shador Sanders reported his arm was sore. Shador Sanders said his arm was sore. Now you've got Kenny Pickett, who is still questionable, and they play a preseason game this Friday. They're not going to play Joe Flacco. He's going to take part in the scrimmage, and Kevin Stefanski always keeps his starters out who participate in the scrimmage out of the preseason game, which I wholeheartedly agree with. You don't want to get anybody hurt. And preseason games really don't matter. Vanilla offense, vanilla defense. Although Carolina is going to have already reported they're going to start their starters. Fine. Don't care. But, so everybody's going to make a big deal out of this, and everybody did make a big deal out of this. Shador Sanders is being held back by the Browns. I even saw some idiot say that secretly Jimmy Haslam doesn't like Shador Sanders and wants the team to get rid of him. What the hell? Look, and this stupid quarterback tracker doesn't help anything. These are numbers that are provided without situations and without context. What situations generated those numbers? You don't know. Nobody knows. All you see is little snippets on social media of video. And then you've got this whole narrative that I don't know who the hell started it, that the Browns are holding him back. Let's just deal with facts. Okay? First of all, this past quarterback draft was god awful. Let's just stick to it. None of these guys should have been a first round pick. It's worse than the draft where Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback taken in the first round, and I believe it was pick 21, and it was solely based on the fact that he had a great senior year at Pitt, where coincidentally they run similar offense to what the Browns are installing. And even as bad as the draft where Anthony Richardson was taken in the first and Will Levin was taken in the second, that was a bad quarterback draft. None of these guys. You got to ask yourself, you got to look back. You got to go back in time and look at who were the top two quarterbacks going into the 2025 college football season. Quinn Evers, Carson Beck. Quinn Evers was taken on the third day. Carson Beck transferred to Miami, hoping he'll have the same luck Cam Ward did when he transferred from Washington State to Miami. Going into last season's college football, Cam Ward was graded a fifth round prospect. How do you go from a fifth round prospect to the number one overall draft pick? I'm sorry, but none of these quarterbacks were a first round pick. And I blame mostly Mel Kiper. Now, I had no problem with Mel Kiper, although some of his analysis was not the greatest in the world. He said in 99 and 2000, he gave A pluses to Dwight Clark's two drafts. How did that work out? Then he got caught taking money from agents to promote the draftable players that they represent. After that, Mel Kiper lost all integrity whatsoever. So Mel Kiper says he's a surefire first round pick. Take it for what it's worth. He wasn't a first round pick. Cam Ward shouldn't have been a first. Tyler Shuck is struggling in New Orleans. Was he a first? Jackson Dart, if he was such a second coming, why did they sign Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? All right, none of these quarterbacks. Now, everybody's going to point out that Dylan Gabriel's struggling. Yeah, you want to know why Dylan Gabriel's struggling? They've given him more than Shador Sanders. because he came from offenses that were complicated and he mastered them at all three places he was at. NFL teams felt he was a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders lasted to the fifth round. Why didn't any other NFL team draft him prior to that? Because he's a developmental quarterback. So, again, numbers are great for some people. I've always said 99% of the statistics tell 49% of the stories, but you got to take them in context. You got to look at the situations that produce those numbers. Everybody says, everybody looks at last year's rushing offense and says how terrible it is, but everybody forgets that sacks count against rushing yards. I've gone back and watched games. I did it so you wouldn't have to. The Giants game, he was sacked 6 times in the first half, Deshaun Watson. Those 6 sacks count against the rushing yardage. Okay, so you just can't look at numbers and come to a definite conclusion, a finite conclusion. That is not, you just can't do that, okay? So let's just forget. I know I'm not even going to listen to Cleveland Sports Talk Radio tomorrow because I know what it's going to be. It's going to be ridiculous. 850 is going to be unbearable. And the only person with a voice of reason that'll be on the air tomorrow will be Tony Grossi. Think about that. Tony Grossi is the voice of reason. That shows you how ridiculous it is to say that they're holding him back. Hey, here's a notion. His arm was sore. He went to the coaching staff, said, my arm is sore. So they said, okay, let's shut you down for now. And they're going to get an MRI today. They're going to they shut him down because they want him to play Friday in the preseason game. Why are you going to, they're not trying to hold him back. If he truly is your franchise quarterback of the future, you let him develop. I mean, Dylan Gabriel came from better offenses. Shedeur Sanders' offense in Colorado was designed for him to get rid of the ball quickly because he keeps running into sacks. He holds on to the ball too long. Okay? And there's evidence of that because when Travis Hunter, his favorite target, goes to Jacksonville, they found out he doesn't know how to run a pass route because in Colorado, he wasn't required to run a pass route. It's like playing football in the street. Run down to the blue Chevy and turn around and look at me. That was basically their offense last year in Colorado. What I have heard is he is soaking up as much knowledge as he can, and the coaching staff feels positive towards Sanders because he's willing to learn, he's willing to take instruction, and he's looking downfield more, which was a problem at Colorado. He's getting rid of the ball quicker. His footwork is getting better, and his arm angle in his passes is getting better. So he is taking instruction, and they are recognizing the fact that he's taking instruction. This 9 practices, and we're already going to say that the Cleveland Browns. I even saw somebody, the Browns made up this injury because they don't want him to start. Stop it. Just stop it. That's ridiculous. Now, a lot has been made about the O-line not playing well. Well, they're learning new stuff as well. Yes, this offense is like 2023. Something that went completely past the media was Joe Flacco was asked, is this offense similar to 2023? Or the same as 2023? And Flacco said, it's similar, but not the same. Nobody reported that. It's different. It's a wide zone offense, but it's different than the 2023 offense. So the blocking schemes are different. I'm just glad the new offensive line coach, Bloomgren, is holding players accountable on the spot if they make mistakes. Why didn't Bill Callahan do that? We know why Andy Dickinson didn't do it, because he was way over his head. So, I mean, the team could have had Bloomgren last year. They tried to hire him, but he didn't want to leave Rice because Rice University, he was the head coach. He didn't want to leave then. But now he's here. Players love him. The offensive line will get better. I'd like to see how they do against Carolina Friday because Carolina has an average defensive line. Right now, they're going up against the strength of this team and probably a top 5 defensive line in the NFL right now. Browns' defensive line is good, very, very good. Mason Graham is just impressing the hell out of Jim Schwartz. Isaiah McGuire right now is going to be your starter opposite Myles Garrett. He's playing that well. He's a nose ahead of Alex Wright. But right now, their defensive line, when you've got a guy that you signed as an undrafted rookie free agent, Aiden Huntington, pushing other players on that defensive line for a roster spot, that's pretty good. And they're the strength of the team. I'm not worried about the D line, and I'm not worried about the offensive line. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about a couple other positions, which I'm not as worried as I was before. All right, welcome back again. Brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee, where they shake the hands of the farmer. Give it a try. Go to our Twitter page. It's pinned right at the top. We get 15%, a little money, which is always good. All right, wide receiver. Right now, everybody's talking about the 3 undrafted rookie free agents: Luke Floria, uh, Keyshawn Johnson, not that Keyshawn Johnson, and Gage Larvadon. I hope I say that right. I'll learn his name. Um, right now, one of them, the only roster spot that I can see, barring injury, that's available would be David Bell. So the only one that probably, and I'm just right now they're catching passes and they're doing well. Each one of them has a very good day, but the one that would probably make the roster and the other 2 would go to the practice squad would be Larvadon, and only because of one reason: he's faster than the other 2. But he's going to be wide receiver 6 if David Bell can't play. And right now, we haven't seen David Bell practice. He's on the pup, so I feel pretty good that this kid's going to make the squad unless somebody better comes available at cutdown day on August 27th. Always remember that date. They go from 90 players to 53. Everybody gets cut. It's a hectic day. And Andrew Berry likes to pick up pieces either a couple days prior to that or the day of to help the team. So your number one is definitely Jerry Jeudy. Deontay Johnson is very involved. He's very happy. When he isn't practicing or isn't on the field, he's congratulating players who make great plays. So I have no problem with him. And of course, Jamari Thrash is showed up in better shape, looks good, playing well. Cedric Tillman and Joe Flacco are starting to get in sync with each other, and they never really had a chance in 23 to get in sync, but they're now starting to get in sync with each other. So we'll see what happens. David Bell is the key. Other players doing well, as I said, Isaiah McGuire. He's doing very well. Carson Schlesinger is just lights out. He's a player, man. Harold Fannin is going to be a weapon this year. You may think they might just keep 2 tight ends so they can keep 4 quarterbacks. I don't see that happening. Blake Whiteheart is probably still the one that's another position if somebody comes available on the 27th that they might look at to bring in. Jordan Akins is still out there, but it's the number 3 tight end. Njoku and Fannin are your studs. So, and speaking, if they see somebody they want to trade for, I'm not really worried about the running back position yet. Jerome Ford didn't get enough credit. There were the Jacksonville Jaguar game last year, their first win of the season. He kept them in that game with his runs. So I'm not really worried about Jerome Ford. I'm not really worried about Dylan Sampson either. I mean, he's already shown his speed. But it's that third guy, Pierre Strong. Well, he's still on a rookie contract. but maybe, I don't know. If somebody better comes available, they'll jump on him. So let's talk about what the main topic of conversation prior to yesterday's practice, with two players in the NFL announced they wanted to be traded. Terry McLaurin and Micah Parsons. Um, the Browns and the rest of the league believe Washington has no desire to retire. Matter of fact, I saw a video of him yesterday shaking the hand of the owner and giving Jalen Daniels' mom a hug. He was at the facility in Washington. So I really don't think that they're interested in trading for him. And he's a 30-year-old wide receiver. Once Amari Cooper hit 30, you could tell he had lost it. His legs were shot at that point. So, but the other one, Micah Parsons. Now, this one intrigues me. Now, I know a lot of Browns fans are going to say, well, what would it take to get Micah Parsons? And it would take probably one of the two first-round draft picks and a player. And if I had to roll the dice on which player, it would probably have to be Isaiah McGuire. He's still on a rookie contract. He's cheap, and we all know how Jerry Jones loves cheap. So, but then you're going to say, well, first-round draft pick. You can't give up a first-round draft pick. What if that first-round draft pick could be our franchise quarterback? Well, if you're sitting there believing Shedeur Sanders is going to be your franchise quarterback, why do you want to draft a franchise quarterback next year? Also, the purpose of first-round draft picks is to bring in talent. Great talent. Mike Parsons is great talent. And then some people mention that, well, it's a similar situation to Myles Garrett when he asked for a trade. No, it's not similar. Parsons is in the last year of his contract. The Browns controlled Myles Garrett for 2 years via contract, and they could add a franchise tag on that third year. So in essence, they controlled him for 3 years. But you can give Micah Parsons the same deal you gave Myles Garrett and still be under the cap. And yeah, $4,160,000. You could do that. This team could do that. Just remember, the salary cap is always going to go up. There was an announcement on Friday that ESPN and the NFL agreed to a new TV deal. That's where the salary comes from. Revenue from TV. And the NFL knows who is watching NFL Sunday Ticket. Before it was on DirecTV satellite. But you didn't know you didn't know how many people were actually signed up for the NFL Sunday Ticket. Moving into YouTube, they know. They know how many people are watching NFL Sunday Ticket because it's now with YouTube. So that salary cap keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up, and it will keep going up. So could you trade for Micah Parsons? Sure you could. One of your first rounds and Isaiah McGuire would do it. And Andrew Berry might put a pick swap in there somewhere. But if you truly believe Shedeur Sanders is going to be your franchise quarterback moving from 26 on, then you really don't need to draft a quarterback. But we don't know that yet. That's the point of this. But they don't know that yet because he is a developmental quarterback. And he knows he is a developmental quarterback. That's why he is soaking up as much knowledge as he can. And the Browns are completely happy with his progress. They are not holding him back. They are not lying to you that he hurt his arm just to keep him down. He reported it himself. Okay? So everybody, calm down. And tomorrow is going to be a crazy day on Sports Talk Radio. Frankly, I'm not going to listen because I'm tired of this crap. I'm just tired of this crap. They are lying to you. They have their own agenda. The Cleveland media does. And it's despicable. It really is. Some of the crap I see on the social media is just that. I said this in my blog on Tuesday, that most of the Shedeur Sanders fans on social media aren't even Browns fans. They're Shedeur Sanders fans. And they criticize the Browns every way, whichever. So let's just all calm down. Hopefully his arm will be better. They'll have positive news from the MRI. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the second half because that's when he's going to play. If Kenny Pickett is healthy, he's going to start. He's going to play a couple series probably. And then they'll bring in Dylan Gabriel because he's a higher draft pick. And then they'll bring in Shedeur Sanders. But remember, he'll be playing against four stringers. I mean, guys that won't even be in the NFL come August 27th. Everybody thought DTR was the second coming because in his first game, the Hall of Fame game against the Jets. Oh, DTR. How'd that work out? Josh Dobbs, who's won one NFL game in his career. One. So just take it with a grain of salt. It's only a preseason game. The one thing you should be watching is how the offensive line does against a very average Carolina defensive line. That's going to tell you how well the offense is going to play in 2025. Just pay attention to that. Just give it a look and just watch that. That's what I'm going to be watching. That's the only thing that matters to me because, like I said, it's vanilla offense, vanilla defense. I want to thank you for listening, watching, following, subscribing to us here at Fanatical Elves Network. We're Browns fans just like you, and we love bringing you as much as our knowledge and as much of the stuff that we hear as humanly possible. So thank you for being here. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dog Pound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Everybody, enjoy your week, enjoy your day. Go Browns!